Hey, welcome to Text Me When You Outside, the podcast celebrating the past and present leaders of nightlife, live entertainment, and hospitality. I'm one of your hosts, Brandon McEachern, followed by my co-host,
Marcus Allen.
Let's get it going. Welcome back. We are here for episode 3 of Text Me When You Outside. I'm one of your hosts, Brandon McEachern, here with my co-host,
Marcus Allen.
You know what I mean? And we have a very special guest with us today. I'm trying to think of the words that I can say about this brother. Been a friend of ours, for a very long time. Powerful young man. Was doing a lot of this stuff before y'all thought it was cool. Mark, what else you got to say about
that was good right there.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're gonna let Kam jump in, but I think let's definitely let Kam introduce himself. But I ain't gonna tell one quick. I remember when we met Kam at the Prefix.
Yep.
I mean, at the Aloft Hotel, downtown Brooklyn. I don't even know what year that was.
That might have been 2011, 2012. That was early.
That was early. That was early in the Brooklyn days. That was the first rooftop in Brooklyn. Like, wasn't none of that happening in downtown Brooklyn. It was ill to see not just Kam, but honestly, so many people who was coming to that party end up becoming such powerful individuals throughout all industries, creative, sports, marketing, man, like live entertainment. Like that was a great time, coming through the city. But no, it's ill. Kam, why don't you just introduce yourself? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, man. First, let me just say it's an honor to be here with two gentlemen I consider pioneers. Just trailblazers, trendsetters. And I'm humbled to be here. So I just want to start by saying that and saying thank you for having me, on this. This is just such an important space that doesn't get talked about a lot. I think, Mark, but as soon as you started talking about that rooftop, it just took me back to a time, where we didn't know we were going to, be world creators, culture changers. We were just like kind of all in our different buckets, different regions, different cities, just being us. So I'm super humbled to be here. But Kam McCullough, what's my description now?
Where you from?
I'm trying to think like what's my title? Not New York, New York. But been all over. I've lived probably everywhere in the city: Brooklyn, Harlem, Queens. Most of my time spent uptown, but yeah, been event promoter, event curator, brand strategist, brand builder for the past, I'm gonna give my age already. You might have to edit this one out, but 38 years old. So I've been doing this about 20 years.
Where'd you go to school at?
Buffalo State College, which is, for those who don't know, Buffalo State.
Buffalo State bust us down.
It's the elite party school.
Wow.
In Buffalo, New York, obviously. But what was so great about that time is you had people. You wouldn't think of it was that, but you had people from all over the world. Whether they were there for sports or, for a criminal justice program, you had people from all over who just kind of descended into this place. And what it was like my introduction to just how big the world was and how different people were. I was only used to, being around people I grew up with, people I went to high school with. We were all like kind of similar, but that was really where I just like got introduced to, different types of Black folks, and different types of people who did things. That's where I got introduced to, the parties and promotion and, going through the dorms, passing out flyers, like, getting my people skills on, like learning what was important to people, to get people out. I'm sure we'll get into all of that. But that was really, where where I cut my teeth and where I really, I found, something I was passionate about, something I was good at. And, it was about 5% of that was in the classroom. So,
yeah. So I'm glad you said that, Cam, like in terms of like, when did that happen for you though? Like you're a freshman, you know what I mean? You move in the dorms, you're there, when is that moment that Cam does his first event, or you know what I mean? You like,
I think I gotta take it back to like what I first saw, right? And this is like we can all identify with just examples, right? Whether it was growing up, you saw the dope boy with the best outfit, the best sneakers, the best car, like who had the best motion, had the ladies, whatever. Mm-hmm. So for me, I remember it was my freshman year, and there was this cat just like walking across campus with a stack of flyers, like stopping everybody, talking to him, come to this thing, and I was just like, okay. And then like he ended up in my dorm, and it was just like all the girls are coming out into the hallway, like, and he's just talking, you got to come to this. We're going to get a bus pick you up at this time. This person's DJing. Well, mind you, I knew what party promoting was, but I was just watching this cat do it. And he was the man on campus at the time. This cat named Sean. I'm not going to put his last name out there, but he was the man at the time. And I was just like, that's cool. Like I could see me doing something like that. I think I got the personality for it. So like literally I went to the party, asked him like, like, why do you do this? Like, do you get paid? Like all that type of stuff. And he was just starting to break down, the science of like the parties he was doing and how he was doing it. And he was like, all he had to tell me, he was like, some days I make, 300, some days I make 3,000. I was like, 3,000. Like, you need somebody to help you. Yeah. So that was really like my formal introduction to promoting, and I worked with him. I was like, so he just gave me a plan. He's like,
So Cam, my bad to interrupt you, but it was a plethora of both. It was the young ladies and the 3,000.
100%. So it was the money, but it was like all the things that we value as young men, before we get into the world and learn what's actually important in life. Yeah. In that stage, it was just like getting to be in that atmosphere, like, also kind of like grow as a young man too, like grow my communication skills, like really just, be in certain rooms that I necessarily wasn't in before. And, I don't think people think about promotion that way, but it really is like a gateway. And, it gives you an amount of access to just people and things and resources. And, you can kind of get boxed in sometimes, but also it is a great way to just always meet new people, always, work on crafting experiences. But yeah, it was a mix of both. And it was inspiring to see him do it, because he was probably 2 years older than me, but you would have swore he was like, 4 or 5, 6 years older, and was like established, had the crazy Acura Legend. That's how old I am. He had the Acura Legend on campus, all black on black. When cats were still, doing rims, he had the 19s on. I was like, this cat is, so
he was outside.
He was,
so for me, it was like you were doing one or two things if you was driving something like that at my age. So, just seeing that was just so inspirational. And
do you remember how long after that did you make some money?
Oh, no, probably like.
When was that first time you got the promoter bag, the party bag?
So it was probably that spring semester, because this is my freshman year. So it's that spring semester.
Okay, so you went through the parties all the first semester.
Yeah, and he would hit me off with a little something for my time. So he gave me like, a little 50 here, a little 100 here. But then I was like, I want to like do this with you. Like I want to like have, some input on the DJ, like, things of that nature. Like if you need me to do more, like I'll man the buses that take the kids from campus to the parties. Like I'll do more, but I'll work the door, like whatever. Like just, I want to do more because I want to make, money. And so he was like, let's just do it together.
Wow.
And he was like, I'll give you a cut. He's like, of everything we make, I'll give you, 25%. I was like, work, like fair to me. Cause I'm doing it for kind of like the love and the learn of it. But then, that 25%, it ended up being like $800.
Right.
And, you know,
freshman year,
$800, bro, $800 is mine. I went to college young. I went to college at 17. So like I'm 17, like $800, like, you know, that's back then. That's 8 pair of sneakers. You know what I mean? That's 4 pair of sneakers and a Pele. You know, so it's just like understanding, you know, kind of the economics and what I was like. $800 is a lot of money.
Sure.
And
was there a brand name associated with you, or were you just?
No, we were under his. Damn, I can't remember the name of his joint, but it was like one of them early 2000s name like pop stars.
But shout out to him though. Shout out to him for the spirit of collaboration and like him being down to work with a brother like, yo, I got you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a vibe.
And I didn't realize it at the time, but you know, that was just like as I look back, it was just a reminder like, yo, tap in with the youth, you know, and be if you're in an established position, you got resources. Like the only thing that can help you grow and be bigger is like by tapping into the next generation and understanding like what makes them tick. Because like I didn't realize it at the time, but he tapped into me because I knew everybody on campus that was in my. So he's like, yo, nah, business. Yeah, it was great business. So he's like, oh, I don't even gotta like hit them dorms no more. Cam got all 4 of them on that. Yo, we good, and they know him, so it's like they're more likely to come because they're supporting, you know, their classmates. So it all made. The older I get, and I think about it, it's like it all made sense. But yeah, it was kind of just a path that was carved out for me.
That's right.
That's fire. That's fire. Yeah, I mean, you know, when I think about my college days, Cam, I think about, yet again, the older cats that had the parties going on. But around my way, some of them were kind of holding it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus being open to let the young cats come on. So it ended up being like the older parties and the younger cat parties. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Which, yet again, going back to the spirit of collaboration, which I fuck with. So. Yeah. Let's fast forward. You was a freshman then. Mm-hmm. So what is Cam like as a senior? Like, were you doing this all through college or?
No, I did this until I was a super senior, and like it became my gig. You know, where like I was throwing. You know, I went from collaborating and like trying to be help somebody out and like just make some money to. You know, I was kind of one of the people up there who was just dictating the flow of the parties of the year. Like,
and it's in Buffalo.
This is in Buffalo. So talking to like there were like 3 or 4 like groups who through that's how it was. Like it was like promotional groups. So you had like one group who was like it was called Real Talk. They were like all the African cats from the Bronx and Brooklyn who threw parties, and it was like they did the flashy, like they did the big venues, a lot of champagne bottles. You had another group who they were more so like really ingratiated into all the student groups, like the student government groups, fraternities and sororities. So they did their thing. Yeah, then you had me, who I was like the guy at my school, because there were multiple schools too. I didn't mention that, but there was like University of Buffalo, Buffalo State, Canisius College. There were like 5 colleges in basically a 10-mile radius of each other. So like I was the only one on my campus, not the only one, but like the guy to talk to them about, yo, we want to do this, we want to do that. You take first party of the year, we'll do the big fashion show after party. And, and kind of like just rotate it like that. And then I joined the frat and we were able to like have kind of that piece of it as well. So we kind of had just control of the calendar. We all talked to each other. We collaborated when we thought it was necessary. And for me, what I did was I just took that same formula that I learned from Sean from my freshman year. Yeah. And I was always just looking when freshmen like came on campus. I was like, yo, who's the most personable? Like when I look around, like who's the person who's like, moving around the party, talking to everybody, woman or man, and just like, and like seeing that and just being like, you guys want to, make some money, like offering them real opportunities to put some bread in their pocket and learn, and then and build relationship. And like some of those people I'm friends with, to this day. And so we just had it, like at least our side of it, we just had it on lock because we had when we were called the cool kids. But that was the name of the group at the time. We called them cool kids. It was like that era, famous skateboard,
famous stars and straps and all that.
Chuck English. So we were like, and that was like starting the kick push. All that was just coming. So like cool kids. Okay. It makes sense, and then that was kind of just like our barometer for who we wanted to like, bring into the group. I ran it with my line brother. at the time, and we just ran, bro. We did parties there. We started moving throughout because New York State in general, like the SUNY system, it's a bunch of colleges and everybody just parties. So you could drive from Buffalo to Albany, which is 4 hours away for a weekend. And there's, a couple parties going on over there. So then, it's just being in the fraternity as well. That just got me connected in other places.
And I was going to ask you that.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you that, Cam, my bad. How did, what frat were you a part of, and how did that, affect your, strategy?
So I'm a new Kappa Alpha Psi, fraternity incorporated. And what was crazy was when I got to campus, right, we had all the frats on campus at that time. And I would just look around and like nothing really was like interesting to me. Like I was like, oh, they got juice clearly because, that holds prestige on the campus. But I didn't really see anything that kind of like fit my vibe. And then I saw the Noob show up one time and they walked in. It was damn near like a spotlight came on them and they was just chilling. I was like, I think I could do that. And then, so, I went through that. I went through my process, and crossed. And what that did was that just opened up my network like insanely to the point where now I have access to, 10 colleges across New York State alone. And then you go there, they roll out the red carpet for you. You're one of them. So then you just get to basically that same access I had at my school, I now had at 10 other schools. So now I'm meeting, people across there, like just, cats who's moving and shaking in different spots, Albany, Binghamton, St. John's. Like I'm meeting all these people and I'm just being myself, right? Like just engaging, talking to people, learning and really just, connecting. This was like early Facebook, though. Like Facebook was probably a year and a half old when this was happening. So, even that was a great tool, which I'm sure we'll get into how all that scales. Sure. But like using Facebook to like really connect with people, like, I know 40 people at Albany. I'm going to Albany and just building kind of my network. That was probably the best thing about it during college was now I had an access point anywhere in the country, really. Like if there was Noops there, I could call them like, yo, I want to come to UNC. Like, what's the time? And you had like what do you call it? Like floor level, just like hospitality. Like, yo, come on. Some cats will let you stay with them, bring up, and you just get there and you continue to connect the dots. And that's been me for the greater portion of my life now, the last 20 years.
So one of the things that we want to do with this podcast also is like, teach young folks about this shit, right?
Yeah.
How important is it to capitalize on those opportunities, right? Like you said, you gave young cats the opportunity. Like, yo, who out of y'all talk, For you meeting Sean, can you just speak to how important it is to show up when those opportunities come? You know what I mean?
It's everything. Like not to go too deep into another direction, but we don't get a lot of opportunity as is if you just lay it out that way, right? So when we get the chance to, to better ourselves, better our livelihood, better our networks, or get a real tangible opportunity, you have to show up as your best self. Now, granted, over time, things may happen. We have bad days here and there. We go through things. So you're just not able to show up as your best self. But anytime I get an opportunity, like it's literally in my email signature. It's like, treat everything like your first project. Because like when you get that first opportunity or you get a big, small, medium-sized opportunity, it's important that you just treat it, that it is precious, because it is. And, to that point, it's like, even if you don't necessarily know what to do, ask a lot of questions, just so you can, and then you also communicate to the person giving you the opportunity how important it is to you, right? And how serious you're taking it. And like, you want to succeed at this. So I may not, like, you may hire me for something, give me a gig. I don't know what the hell to do. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to do my best to figure it out. If I don't deliver, I'm going to be accountable. I'm a show. And I think that's the things that we miss sometimes, especially, just in the age we live in now. And even like before this, where it's just like accountability. I think that's a huge part of it because, for us, it's very easy to just place the blame on somebody else or like, put it into somebody else's hands. But if you're given the opportunity, it's literally on you to make it happen. And if you don't, then you got to look at yourself. Because, somebody else could have done something to you. It could have been, some fuck shit along the way. But I always tell, especially younger folks, always find your part in it. Be accountable for your part in it, no matter what happened or transpired. And then you can grow from that, right? Like you can grow from a mountain of mistakes as long as you own them. But to your point, be just like, the opportunity is so important that you just treat it precious, and treating it precious is that it's being accountable, it's communicating, it's, doing what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. And if you can't do it, communicate that you can't do it, because that's something that, I run into now just in all of my dealings still, with people 10 years older than me, of just like not being accountable, and overcommitting, and then like being afraid or being, having shame of just not saying like, yo, I fucked up, my bad. Like, and I think, that being accountable has sometimes gotten me further than being talented, and just like showing up in that way.
Message, youths. Text me when you outside. Message from Cam. You know what I mean?
I'm
Go ahead,
curious,
Mark.
at that time, though, because I'm sure you moving, right? You just crossed.
Yep.
Making a couple dollars.
Yep.
In this early phase, you got a couple dollars in your pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Give us high level the best night you recall during that time period.
Yeah.
Like where was it? What was happening?
Man. Oh, yeah. So
you know the exact night too. That's what's funny.
I do. It's crazy. Like I can't give you the exact date. I can tell you the year. It was 2007. We had the University of Buffalo had this student group, Black Student Union. They're like the Black student organization. Yeah. They threw a fashion show every year called Black Explosion. It was like the thing everybody came up for. So you had cats coming up from the city, folks coming up from everywhere, and just like descending on this hotel. That's the real estate cats are fighting for the after party. We didn't have the after party. Another group threw the after party, but we ended up. So this is me and my brain. I was like, yo, we can't have the party, but yo, we could throw. We know all these people coming into town on like Thursday. We could throw a crazy house party, because I had, at this point, I'm off campus. I had like a 3-level crib. My rent was like $300.
Okay.
Shout out
Buffalo.
Yeah, bro. Like, and this is pre-recession, dog. So like, a $300 rent, a basement, like open space, like, dog, it perfect for a house party. So I was like, yo, let's just throw a house party. I'll go spend $300 on, the jungle shoes,
liquor,
do all that. Tell cats they could bring it. We'll have some Henny, and like spend $300. My boy DJ'd it, brought his own speakers, paid him $200. So we paid $500. And we just told everybody like, yo, $10 cover, all you can drink. So this Thursday night, bro, it's probably about 300 people in my house. So no, you talking about $3,000, you talking about $2,500 profit margin. So I just got $2,500 in like 20s in my little stash. So I'm like, all right. And I knew the weekend was coming, so I didn't plan on going to the fashion show. I done went to the little mall, got my fit together. This time, we 7 jeans, True Religion, track jackets, that era, Nike boots. So that it was one of those. And the party was that night. I was like, yo.
Let me ask you this, because I know in this life, this always is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a wifey at this time? Like,
I didn't. So I was just out of my first relationship, which she had graduated, and she's from New York. She had graduated and moved to Atlanta. So we broke up because she moved.
Right. Long distance.
And then so I was just on campus, bro, and like just moving around. So in that when that all was like happening for me, I was again in like competition with these dudes who were throwing a party, like not real competition, but like, yo, I'm gonna throw the best shit. We kind of had our come up. So I was like, man, I'm gonna go buy the bar out, right? So like tonight, and like mind you, to buy the bar out at that time, you talking about a Long Island iced tea, $10, Henny like was, shot Patron was $7. So I walk in the spot, bro. And it's this spot called the Town Ballroom. It was like our biggest club. It was like a 3-level, like real club, like stage. DJ was on stage. We used to have performers. We had like levels to it. So like the top level was usually where the upperclassmen were, frat dudes, athletes. Like that was where they kind of like mingle. They had 2 VIP sections and all that. So I just walk in, probably like right before it goes up. I remember Mr. C was DJing. Shout out to Mr. C. It's my guy.
Wow.
Mr. C was DJing. He's going crazy. Like this is like 50 Cent. I Get Money time. Like he's going crazy. So, I'm mad that we can't explain this.
I can hear it.
It's going. I'm in there. I'm already pregame, so I'm already a little. I didn't drive, by the way. No, I was being responsible. I did not drive. But get to the bar. It's about probably 50 people. Men, women, all that. I go to the bartender, who's my friend. I was like, "Yo, let me get 50 shots of Patron." And he was like, 50 shots of Patron.
50 shots.
He's like, "Yo,
500."
He's like, "Yo, exactly." He's like, "Yo, 500 shots." Throw the 500 on the bar. Throw another 200 on the bar. Like, and let me get 2 rosés. So I'm like,
oh, for the 5? Yo, yeah, that's
bro,
that. That's
we was
that
living in the time, bro.
Yeah,
but that. So I do that, and my man is just like, "Yo, what are you on tonight?" I said, "Nah, it's one of the nights we going." This is just me. Like B's been around. Y'all both been around me enough when I'm in one of those modes to kind of talk my shit. I was like, nah, I just want to, I want to showcase the difference tonight. Put it up there. So
you got to. Sometimes you got to.
So I'm like, I got to showcase the difference, right? Because it's a bunch of cats in here, everybody talking money, talking this, like, boom, done that. And then it's funny. This kid came up to me, this African cat. He was like, "Yo, I ain't never seen no shit like that." Hey, he was like, "Yo, like, who does that?" And I was just like, "Just me." And then, so then rest of the night, bro, cloud 9. Mr. C was going crazy 2-3 hours. I ended up on stage. Wasn't supposed to be up at all. Back off stage. But it was one of those nights for me. It was like when the movies, like, you come up, you watch Juice, you watch New Jack City, you watch all these movies, and you're like, man, I want to have that feeling one day of just being that guy. And you think you could do it at your own event, but as y'all know, y'all are working, like, you trying to make sure
you never can.
You can never do it. But when it's somebody else's shit, like, that's what I show up to other people's birthdays, and I have a time. Like, I show up to your birthday party, bro. I'm gonna celebrate like it's mine. But no, that was one of the illest nights, bro. When I think about it, just in context, like, I'm talking about $2,500. But then, life changing money, bro. Like, life changing money.
That's dope. That's dope.
So when does the idea fester, Cam? You know what I mean? A lot of people, they put you with one of your first babies.
Yeah.
That you created. You know what I'm saying?
No, real quick, before we can go that.
Yeah.
Okay. My bad. Because I want to get into that, Mark.
How long were you in New York before? Because it's funny.
Yeah.
The story you just told about it being a house party, right? I know that's how you were able to birth a baby of yours. How long are we talking? Like, how long after you moved back to New York did that happen?
I'm in New York end of 2008, fall of 2008.
So you came back home from Buffalo
in New York
in
2008. Summer 2008, actually. So like July, yes, because I celebrated my birthday. So July, it's a recession. I get the job.
Shout out to us Cancers, by the way.
Hey, bro. I'm Leo, but Cancer.
Okay, cool. I'm a Cancer.
Cancer.
It's all love.
Cancer is a long way. Y'all all crazy, but but nah. So I get back, and this is like just maybe 4 years of me just working, bro. And like, I worked in finance for a couple years. I moved over into advertising, but I was still throwing parties in the city. So I was doing like happy hours. For those who aren't familiar, at that time in like New York, the happy hour scene was nuts. So like you go out on a Wednesday after work, it was a spot.
Stay out all night.
Stay out all night. And like that was foreign to me. Like college, you you drink this on Thirsty Thursdays, whatever. But like this was different. One, everybody had jobs, and then like the cost of anything experience in New York is crazy. So when you're going to happy hour, the drink you want is actually affordable. It's $7 as opposed to 14, 16, whatever. And it's all young professionals. And that was a completely new like concept to me. Cause like when I was going out, even like on my own, it was like, dudes from the block, dudes from probably like just other, but it wasn't like, it didn't have that feel of like, young, aspiring like professionals. Like not saying that those people that I was going out with weren't, but it was just a whole different vibe. So I saw that and I was like, this is interesting. So started throwing happy hours, and we'll find a spot that let us rock out, because we knew what I knew is I could always bring out people. Like it was just a matter of getting like, a favorable deal with a venue, or a venue that had a good location, good ambiance.
Let's speak to that real quick though. Yep. At that time, what was a good deal? Like what kind of deals were you trying to be in at that time?
A good deal back then was, because we weren't charging cover, so it was happy hour.
So it's bar guarantees.
Yeah, bar guarantees. Like give us, 10, 15% of the bar. If the bar hits, $5K, we make a little $500. Sometimes the bar is going crazy, it hit 10. So just to make. And I think I was also fortunate to not be doing that solely for my income. Like, so I was able to even like just understand the industry a little bit better, talking to general managers, if there was places who would offer us 20 because they needed the business. So they're like, yo, you could bring 100 people here. Well, I'll give you 30% of my bar. And we were like, shit. Okay. And so like just learning even that way of the business, because I walked in there, I didn't know what a bar guarantee was. I didn't know what a bar minimum was. I didn't know, because it would always boggle me, like, how do these people make money if they don't charge cover? And it was like, oh, they make their money from the bar. And so that was like a learning curve for me. And when I saw that, I said, okay, there's an opportunity to like fill a void, not necessarily like make a bunch of money, but I was like, there's a crowd of people who love this the way I love it. Let me throw my own. And then that was always like my niche. Like I always like looked for like what I liked, like what was of my taste level, like what was of my like economical pocket range as well, like what I could afford, like what made sense. And that was kind of how I did my events. Like I only did events that I myself would want to go to. And that was very important to me, just over time. And like New York at the time was going through a whole cultural change as well. Cats were moving out of the clubs because the clubs were huge at that time. Like if anybody who remembers M2, Pink Elephant, all the clubs that were like downtown in the 20s, those were all great. Yeah, those are the mega joints, and those were popping. Like you're talking about every week, different artists rolling through, and you had to pay to play. Like, and some nights, though, I ain't have 600 to go out. Like I had 60, to go get some appetizers and a few cocktails, but I use it all as information, and like that's just me in life in general. It's like it's all information. And the happy hour started popping, so we started like doing some night parties at some of those spots because they rocked with us. So that got us into the night scene in New York, where we were able to throw a ton of events. When I say we, I'm talking about just like different partners, maybe whether it be some of my frat brothers, some cats that I was in business with, during that time, just like different folks. Like we would just go into these spots. I would usually be at the forefront, brokering the deal, doing all that stuff, like putting the flyers together and all that. But yeah, it was an experience.
It's still no Instagram. 08, 09, no Instagram, right? That's just Facebook.
It's Facebook. It's just Facebook, and then Twitter was like brand new.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You're right.
So, it was to the point
at that time. You know who was killing Twitter? Fucking Fab.
Yes,
Fab was like one of the most funny people on Twitter at that time. Like, I feel like in terms of rapper, he was like one of the first. He was the first one, bro. He was the first one that like really understood what it was for and like used it to his advantage, right? And I think like some say it's like oversaturated to the point now, but you got to give credit where credit's due. And I think also in terms of like our scene and what was happening there, a lot of people like made their name on Twitter, which like if you would think about the era we came up in,
we would have thought it was weird. Like, this is the computer. Like nobody knows you for real in real life. But again, information. I was like, oh, so that translates.
That's actually funny because, you remember when Ice he worked at Foot Action?
Yep.
Like, he was like that Twitter handle was so legendary because I'm like, yo, is this satire or is this being real? You know what I mean? Like, and to see that this nigga's on the fucking Joe Budden podcast, at this point is kind of like, oh, wow.
We talk about like creating worlds. That was like, if you just missed that era, I always try to explain it to people, but I feel bad because there was nothing like that prior to. Like, a lot of the stuff we do, grassroots, organically on the ground, like that's been around. We're just doing a different version of it. But like that early Twitter pocket was like nothing I've ever seen in terms of like connecting with people you didn't know from a hole in the wall, like building, some sort of bond relationship, building a name, a following. Like that was a thing because
images, which is interesting. Like,
yeah,
I don't even think in that early Twitter you could upload pictures like that. It was just funny ass text.
That's it. Just funny ass words. A twit, like then TwitPic came in, so then you were able to see pictures.
Oh, yeah. TwitPic.
But that wasn't initially though. But then you think about it, just in how it like has grown and what it is now is completely different. But at that time, like again, information, just knowing that I saw it and I was like, oh shit, like it's motion over here. Like shit is happening like constantly. I can't even keep up like with a trending topic or who's the main character today. Like you following stories like through just like subtle tech, like what are they talking about? And so it was fascinating, at the time, and obviously it came to play a big part in what we did. But
so at this time, you're cultivating community, obviously through the happy hour joints.
Yep.
So then at some point, Cam, you said, Mark, can I go there now? I got to ask my brother, you know what I mean? So when does Henny Palooza, when do you get this idea? When do you get this thought, bro, to do these events where people come and just get fucking smashed? My brother, I remember when I first heard about it, but I want to hear, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just so interested.
What's crazy, dog? Like every time I tell the story, like y'all heard it, but every time I tell the story, like people just don't believe me. That what became this, like, I'll call it what it is, global phenomenon. It wasn't ever meant to be anything more than game night at the crib. Like I was having these like game nights in my crib in Harlem on 115th and Pleasant. I had a big ass living room. So like, I would have 30 people in the living room, we playing flip cup, doing all this stuff. And I was just like, we did one literally right after Thanksgiving. It was dope. Like we had a good time. Everybody's like, I had such a good time. We had like all types of drinks. And then in December, I got fired from my job. And I was just like, man, I still want to like have a time, celebrate the year. Like, let's just run that game night back. I was like, yo, like let's like do something different. I was like, yo, let's just tell cats to bring Henny, right? Only bring Henny, because like that's what we drank. That's what we all.
And you lost your gig. You like, yo, I
want to kind of forget, what the last couple of weeks have been like. Everybody just bring Hennessy, and just also understanding, as somebody who lost my gig, you might not have Hennessy money. I'm like, yo, if they don't bring Henny, I live up the block from the chicken spot. Tell them to bring a box of chicken. Tell them to bring a $10 box of chicken, and we good. So that was just the thing. So I sent the text out, literally, Henny Palooza, totally made up. Yo, Henny Palooza, bring Henny or chicken to the crib, blah, 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 blah. Don't pass the invite.
Yo, did you ever get a cease and desist or anything from Lollapalooza, our good folks at C3? Did that ever happen?
No, we didn't. We got a stern warning. We got a really stern warning from them, which we hit them back and was like, look, like properties are completely different. Like, because they want to get into intellectual property, usage rights, all that shit.
But Mark, you jump though. It's a house party right now. You know what I'm saying? They at the crib. I don't get no cease and desist letter just being at the crib bringing a bucket of chicken. So
yeah.
So that was the one you did, the first one you did.
Yep. December of 2012.
Next.
Yeah. December of 2012. It was crazy. Like, I let a few. Like, it was my crib, so I was still trying to be protective of it, and like I don't want.
It got a little out of hand. It was a little.
Yeah, it got crazy, but people hear about it. A homie is like, "Yo, can I bring somebody?" It's like, "Yeah, just who you bringing?" Like, "Oh, I want to bring this lady." And I'm like, "Oh, yo, cool." And it like probably like the night before, my man hits me like, "Yo, dog, this is turning into a thing." I'm like, "What you mean?" And he's just like, "Yo, I talked to this person, this person, this person, this person." I was like, "Oh, all right." Like, he was trying to like show it to me, and so much. At that point, you couldn't even screenshot. So he was like showing me.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yo, this." I was like, "Damn, I can't have all these people in my living room."
Yeah.
So I go to my landlord. I lived in a family-owned building. It was a family building. It was a 5-floor walk up. I said, "Yo, I need to use the community room, the family room, which is on the first floor.
Yeah.
How much to rent it out?" This guy goes in, drafts me up a contract, like a venue contract to use the family room, $50.
Wow.
Yo, cool, done. Like, and he was like, "And you got to clean up." I was like, "Yeah, no problem. Like, this ain't gonna get that crazy." So then, the day of happens. I was up there mixing the little cute Hennessy punch in one of the clear Target containers. I'm just like, it's gonna be a good little time. My man is DJing, he bringing the speakers. I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be a vibe. Like, this is gonna be cool." No, it's like 8:00. And then my phone just starts ringing off the hook from people I don't really talk to. So I was like, "Yo, you ain't tell me about the shit tonight." I was like, "What shit?" He's like, "Nigga, Henny Palooza." I said, "Oh, nah, this ain't that." But, like, nah. So this is where the joke started, which actually ended up turning into a marketing campaign. I was like, "Oh, nah, bro, it's just an intimate gathering. Like, just some family and friends, like, super intimate. It's not a function. Like, this is just, like, super intimate." He's like, "All right, bet. So then, I don't know how word continued to get out. I kind of know now how it did, but folks are just flowing through. Like, you're seeing cats across the street at the liquor store walking over, but they're like, "Yo, this Henny Palooza?" I was like, "Sure." So my roommate ends up like doing the door. He's just like, "Yo, I gotta check because this is getting wild because it's a good mix of folks, but then you got some unsavories walking up. Like, yo, what's this looking like? Whoa. Like this is not that, brother." But it's funny. My man came by with some gangsters. And I was like, this is one of my dudes, and he's like, "Yo, bro, like, but it's like 7 of them." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's gonna flip the ratio. It's going it might just change the whole
dynamic,
the whole energetic feel of what we got going on." So I was like, "All right, how do I tell these cats no?" And I'm just like, "Yo, fellas, like, my landlord already tripping. Like, we gonna have to kick people out in a minute. Like, but the next one, I'll definitely make sure I'll let y'all know we gonna continue." It's like, "All right, no problem, no issues, And bro, this is how I knew we had something, right? So party's crazy. There's still videos on YouTube of the very first one. If you just type in Henny Palooza, like, it's like the video's titled like Henny Palooza Part 1. It's still on the internet to this day.
We're gonna pull that clip. Don't worry.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to.
Yeah. So like that was just, so that was cool. But in my mind, I'm used to doing these house parties, these functions. So it felt like kind of just another one. And it's funny, my man fell asleep on my couch that night. And he was just like, we went upstairs. We didn't clean up. We had the next day to clean up. We went upstairs, went to sleep. He slept. He's like, "Yo, I got to sleep on the couch?" Like, "For sure, bro. I don't want you trying to navigate these streets as drunk as you are." So we woke up. We recapping like, "Yo, you seen it? Yo," he's like, "Nigga, you been on Twitter?" I said, "No. Like, I don't, like, that wasn't a thing. Like, you didn't go out the night before and then get on social media." I was like, "No. I went to the corner store. Like, I didn't go on Twitter." He's like, "Yo, check Twitter and just type in Henny Palooza." And it's I kid you not, hundreds of tweets about like, why did I know about this? Why y'all ain't tell me this was a thing? But it's like celebrities, it's rappers. I'm just like, what the fuck? And they hitting up, they hit me up, be like, yo, what's up? I'm like, this was not meant to be that. But then my man, he was so profound, cat named Chris Fox. He was like, yo, at this point, it just got to be a thing. Right.
I love that. So how long after that first shebang are you like, oh, we gotta get a venue?
Dog, that was after the third one. So that's when it got like out of hand.
Oh, so you did 3 more in the community room? No.
So I did the second, oh man, the story about the second one is almost better than the first one. Dog, so I was working at Condé Nast at the time. So like which is advertising for people who don't know. Digital advertising. I was working in fashion at that too. So like I was at Women's Wear Daily. So I was getting to like do some events with them, and I was just seeing how them shits worked and like how they booked venues, all this stuff that they did. And I wanted to get a venue for the second one because I was like, absolutely, I cannot let that many people ever know where I live again. So I went to this art gallery. I found it on Peerspace at the time. Like Peerspace was damn near a brand new site. I found it on Peerspace. They were like, they give you the range of what it could cost.
Yeah, the rental.
Yeah, the rental could be anywhere between $1,000 and $4,000. I was like, I don't got $4K. I'm making fucking $60,000 a year. Like, I don't got $4K to spend on a venue. Let me just go by there, right? Because at that point they still had the exact address on it. So let me just go down there. So I go in, bro. It's a brand new art gallery. Like it hasn't opened yet, and it's beautiful four white wall space, bro, blank canvas. And the owner is there, just like going through his shit. And I was like, yo, I saw this space on Peerspace. I'm looking to do an event. He's like, what type of event are you trying to do? I was like, like cocktail party, past hors d'oeuvres,
young people take note. Cocktails.
Past hors d'oeuvres, cocktails. Yo. So he was just opening. So he's like, man, it's free money. He was like, yo, he's like, you give me 1,000 cash, like I'll write the contract now. He was like, done. Went right to got my 1,000
young
cash.
People, sorry to interrupt you, Cam, but young people, have you noticed that Cam has gone straight to the source? That's something that y'all need to take note of. Text me when you outside lessons. Go straight to the source. You know what I mean? Absolutely. And they gonna draw up the contract right then. You know what I'm saying? Scared money don't make none. Continue.
Cut out the middleman. Cut out the middleman. Yeah, and
don't make none.
And that's what. And so, though, I wish I could have seen the look on this man's face when Cats was lined up with boxes of Popeyes, because Popeyes was right around the corner. This is an art gallery in the Lower East Side on Rivington and Essex. So, like right by the Williamsburg Bridge, like and yeah.
This is how to make it in America type shit. You had on crisps, jeans and shit.
Bro, but this was the magic also in New York at the time. Like you had kind of the runway to just do shit. Like if you had ambition, like it's not like that now. But like for us,
it's so ill though, because the fact of, so much of this time Cats is just living in the Peerspace world. But you was living in the Peerspace world, but then you went to the venue. Had you not gone to the venue, this doesn't even happen.
No, it doesn't happen. We probably, I probably lose inspiration to keep doing it, because this was like shortly after. This was like 2 months after. I remember it was February. Miami was playing the Knicks. This was when Braun was on the Heat. Miami was playing the Knicks that same day. And so it was just like, yo, it feels right. Like there's people in town, like a couple like homies was calling me who work, in the league. They're like, yo, want to come to the next one, dog? So like, that's why we threw it. Like we had no other rhyme or reason to throw it. So we just threw it in February and it was hot. So like, I didn't know I didn't know the things about like keeping a conversation alive online and all that. I just was like, yo, when should we do the next one? People was like, yo, 2 weeks. Like, that's just what we did. So that one happened. And that one to me is even more legendary than the first one, because
what made it better? What made it so much better?
So at this point we had a venue. So like that was just another thing. It was an ambiance. You had cats in LES, like in an art gallery, sipping a Cause Henny bottle, like sipping it like out the bottle with a chicken breast in their hand, singing Ace Hood, Bugatti. Like, nigga, like it don't get more culture than that. And I think for me, that was when it went off. I was like, oh yeah, like we got something. And also the people who was in there. You had a bunch of cats from, and you just have real tastemakers. Like I hate using that word now.
Name drop. Give people.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Joe Budden was in there. Wayno was in there. I'm trying to think who else was. Yeah, so many.
Shout out to Wayno. That's a good dude.
Great dude. What's my man's name? Industry cat. I remember. But it was like that level A&Rs, all those type of folks in there, to the point. My man who was CMO of Beats at the time was in town, hit me like, yo, that shit's still going on. I'm at the game, but like, yo, what's up? I was like, nah, OG, we ending. We ending at 9. You know, like he was like, oh damn. And so, but that was like the one where I feel like the world kind of found out about it, not to be dramatic, but like just people outside of my immediate like text network circle of folks found out about it. And it was a hit. Bro, it was a hit. From then, it was like, all right, we got to go to a bigger spot. Ended up back in the backyard in Harlem, but it was like a backyard of a brownstone. We had the inside and the outside, but that one was crazy. And at this point, I'm still paying for everything out of pocket.
I was gonna ask, like, is this a business? Is this a LLC, or just Cam off the strength, off the arm?
This is Cam Incorporated at this point. And it's just like using my bread from work and like just doing it. Like, and so like doing it scrappy, bro. So like I couldn't get the top tier music venue because I ain't had that type of money. So when I went to get to the brownstone in Harlem, it was simple. It was like, yo, give us $600. We'll do this. You do that. I had to hire security. So I had to consider all that stuff. But I started building the model of the business in that time. And that particular one, the third one, which is to answer your question in a very long-winded way, like that was the one where I was like, this one, I got to legitimize this. Like, because like if we just continue in this path, we're going to go off the rails. It's going to be considered like some real fly by the wind, part of my French nigga shit. And it's not, and that's not what this is. And that's not what I want it to be perceived as. That's not what I want it to be. And that after that one, I was like, okay, we gotta have a staff. Like we gotta have roles. Cause like, we just a group of homies just like kind of doing shit. Oh, you could DJ, you could host, you can, and that's what started as, but I started like assigning roles, to certain things. And I was like, obviously I got it incorporated. Like I went and got the trademark, which I was surprised I was even able to get, which was a finding. But just understanding.
By the way, that is wild.
I was just, but that taught me, and not to go off tangent, but that taught me how disconnected from culture brands are, because everybody that I know, from my nephew to my pops, calls it Henny. They don't associate with that name at all. Like to the point where I was like, even if I don't we don't want to be called that. You can't call.
Yeah, you're not gonna own it though.
No, I don't own the trademark. So when I was like, oh shit, we could own this. That was also another moment of like, oh, we could actually build something substantial and just go as far as we could go. Because I didn't know if we would ever be sued. I didn't care about that. I was just like, what we're doing, we got such a wave right now. Like I'm gonna just ride this wave, trust my taste level, trust my decision making. Just trust my thought process and just go as far as humanly possible. And, you see where it took us, but it all started with just, I think making decisions in the moment, like what I felt like were the right decisions. Like I wasn't like scale was never a conversation, but we eventually scaled, partnerships was never a conversation, but then it had to become one because I'm like, all right, how do I do even like our pricing model? Like that wasn't, I didn't know what to charge people.
Speak to that. 'Cause that was like ill. Like it was just the one price ticket all you can drink.
Yeah, because because I couldn't make sense of, like, how do I charge people for this, right? I'm asking you to bring a bottle, because we were still asking folks to bring a bottle for entry. I was like, how can I flip this to actually make some revenue? Because I can't ask you to bring a bottle and then
charge you.
Yeah, that just don't make sense to me. Like, I would, again, going back to my thought process of, is that something I would fuck with? Like, you want me to bring a bottle of $50 Hennessy and give you $20? No, like, that don't make sense. So I was like, yo, what if I just charge cats the price of a bottle? And then, you drink until it's gone. Like, we'll deal with some backlash because we ran out. But yo, if a cat is coming in here and able to have 4 or 5, they're gonna be all right. So that was like really where the pricing model started. And then I just tweaked it over time because we started to grow out an experience. It became more than just 5 hours of Henny drinking and DJing. So it's like, okay, like, some folks are like growing up or like, getting into a bit more money. We might need to add some sort of a VIP element to this. We might need to, think about, just how the types of venues we go into, right? What is that experience, to like just keep people happy? Like, it wasn't even about elevation. Like, elevation came through keeping our consumer happy and like listening to what they were telling us. And like, people are like, yo, dog, like, we want, we don't want to be standing around, in a brownstone. Like, we want to be able to do so. Like, yo, you should play. Like, this is New York. Like, we want to hear more reggae. Get this, so like what people now call slander. Like, we were getting all that. I would be right in, the messages, the tweets, the timeline, the comments after an event, because I felt like that was when we got our best feedback. Like, literally right after an event.
Yo, my bad to interrupt you, but I'm glad that you said that. Another one, you know what I'm saying? Another text me when you outside motherfucking lesson. Stop taking shit so sensitive, young cats. When somebody say something about your event or something, take that, put that in the wheelhouse, you know what I mean? And make your event better. You know what I mean? So thank you for that, Kim.
And try to understand, even if it's not coming from a good place, right? Like, just try to understand what the message is, because clearly there was something that made them unhappy or, made them dissatisfied. And granted, you might not ever want that person to come to your event again. Right. And that's okay too. But at the same time, evaluate the message and not the messenger. And that was always my lens of like, and because it could be very easy for me to just be like, man, this motherfucker hating. But then I'm just like, two things can be true. This motherfucker could be hating. We have a valid criticism too.
And he got a valid ass what? Yeah, absolutely.
We assumed Wale was going to come, but Cass hit me that morning like, yo, Push is coming. So we were talking strictly to Rock Nation. And
that Barclays Center shit, y'all did y'all, man. Please speak on that, King, please. So for those of you who don't know who he's talking about, he just said Jay, but he's talking about Jay-Z, Sean Carter. I just wanted to clarify that.
Just text Lenny like, yo, Duce Palooza, what up?
Let's go.
What's good, everybody? This is Kam McCullough, founder, creator of Henny Palooza, Duce Palooza, and catch me on Text Me When You Outside with my guys.